hello, tip, TEDxLincoln. Thank you. By a show of hands, how many of you, before my short demonstration, have heard beatboxing, live beatboxing, in the past 5 years? Oh, that's a lot. And there's still a few that don't have your hands raised. Well, after my presentation here, every single one of you will be able to say that you have experienced the art of human beatboxing. Beatboxing, in essence, is the art of emulating a beatbox drum machine with your mouth, nose, and your throat. Beatboxing originated back in the 1980s, and there are really kind of three main pioneers, so to speak. We had first a guy named Darren Robinson, aka Buffy, or Buffy Love as we called him. He was a part of the group called the Fat Boys. I don't know if some of you remember them, but Buffy was very well known for his inward and outward technique in which he can get air. So you no longer had to worry about how does a beatboxer get air? Are they just constantly going, and it's just all gone? Well, now he's, so now he's able to breathe in and out, putting that into a beat. So it seems complicated, but it's just breathing. The second guy, one of the most known, is a guy named Dougie Fresh. And some of you might think of the dance, do the Dougie, but it's not the dance. He's actually a beatboxer, and he was very well known for collaborating with other artists and his click rolls, which is actually the first sound that I learned to do when I started beatboxing, and they sound just, and it's a very interesting sound, but he does a lot of intricate click rolls, a lot of just single clicks, and really known for collaborating with other artists. Our last, or it's not the last pioneer, I'll show you that, but the third pioneer that I'll speak about is Biz Markie. And for all you parents out there, yo gabba gabba, I'm sure all of your kids are Biz's beat of the day. And he's very well known for actually making his whole albums by himself. So whereas, you usually have a producer that would create the beats and then the rapper who would rap over them, you now have the beatboxer who's sitting there, but then you've also got him going, why can't we be friends? It's that same thing. So obviously that song, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? If you all remember that one, thank you. So those three kind of really pushed beatboxing hard, all the way through the mid-90s. And there was a whole battle scene going on. Beatboxing was a giant craze. It dropped off in the mid-90s, around 1995, because people thought it was a phase, a fad, a circus act, a sideshow, when it's really music. So drops off in the mid-90s, picks back up in 2000, when the godfather of noise, aka Rozelle, he made an album called Make the Music 2000, which once again featured a beatboxer making a lot of their own beats and then rapping over them and featuring other rappers as well. But the hook was, at the end, if you wait about 60 seconds, at the end, there was actually a big battle between him and a machine where he used a lot of different beatboxing techniques that all the beatboxers kind of know and recognize. But it was really interesting to see, oh wait, this is something that they can actually use in music. There's no words, nothing else but just his mouth. So fast forward about 8 years, the craze has jumped in Europe, people in America are picking it up, and this is where I come in. Are you ready? So, as said earlier, I moved from St. Louis when I was 16 years old, freshman in high school, and I started beatboxing at the end of my freshman year, which was kind of interesting because one of the things that I left behind when I moved from St. Louis, obviously you leave a lot of things behind, items, but one of the things I left behind was hip hop culture. I kind of dropped it. I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. I thought, people that rapped, DJs, turntablists, and yes, there's a difference. I thought the whole hip hop culture was kind of skewed. There's something wrong with it. Even if I couldn't find it, it was bad because you'd hear things on the news and people would say, well, this happened and that happened. Well, starting to beatbox, I started meeting rappers and DJs and turntablists and people who were passionate about their art forms just as I was passionate about mine. And I found out, I was like, they're not bad. They're making music just like I'm making music. I make music about one thing and they'll make music about another thing. I may not feel the same way about a certain topic that I may not feel the same way they feel about the topic, but I can appreciate the fact that they really are passionate about their music. They want to push their art form just like I'm pushing my art form. And it's really interesting to collaborate with, every other musician that I kind of come in contact with. So a big thing was kind of the emotional connection that they have with their, with their instrument, so to speak. It's kind of like a painter. Every artist has their canvas. A painter, he's, doing his thing and he's got his canvas going. Whereas, let's use rapper, for instance. They've got a pad and a pen, and they're writing this down. Whatever's going through their head, whatever they're feeling that day, they're writing it down. If they're feeling sad, they're writing about it. Happy, they're writing about it. And it's the same way with beatboxing. Whereas, a rapper will have the pad and paper, I've got time. So say, I don't know how many of you are musicians, but some of you would pick up on this, just a beat, and so I'll have this going and I'll, so it's kind of, thank you. So it's a very kind of progressive thing where I keep discovering more and more about myself as a musician, as a person, as I go on, and as I'm using time, I'm figuring out how to, I don't want to say manipulate, okay, I'll say it. Learn how to manipulate time in order to express my feelings. So emotion's actually a huge part of it. And actually, I'll actually want a little crowd interaction here. I'll need 3 emotions from you all, preferably. Scared, okay. Anger and?
Excited.
Oh, yeah, jealous or excited? Excited? Okay. So I've got anger was 1, then excited, and then scared? Awesome. So let's start with anger. So when I'm angry or I'm having a bad day, when I'm beatboxing, it's very rough. It's got like a really breathy. So it's got a lot of that really, thank you. It has a lot of really heavy sounds, so there's not much light like going on. In excited though, we have a little different dynamic. So you do have the same, but you're excited, so you don't get to like lollygag. So it's, so you have that feel. So finally putting scared into the mix, we'll have them all together. Ladies and gentlemen, if everything that you have experienced has been a TEDx presentation by DeWayne Beatbox, Box. Thank you.